We begin this terrifying countdown at number 1 with SCP Secret Laboratory, a chaotic and highly replayable multiplayer experience that drops you deep into a containment breach. In this game, players are randomly assigned roles ranging from facility guards and scientists to the monstrous anomalies themselves, creating a dynamic environment where trust is impossible and panic is guaranteed. The proximity voice chat is the star of the show here, allowing for hilarious and horrifying moments as you hear the screams of your teammates being cut short by a monster in the dark. The layout of the facility changes every round, ensuring that you can never memorize the escape routes, while the different SCPs require specific strategies to evade or contain. It is a brilliant mix of tactical shooter mechanics and pure survival horror that relies heavily on player interaction, making every match a unique story of betrayal and survival against the odds. Moving on to number 2, we have Cry of Fear, which started as a mod but evolved into one of the best standalone free horror experiences available on Steam. The co-op campaign allows you and your friends to navigate a nightmare version of Stockholm, fighting off twitching, grotesque monsters with a limited supply of ammunition and melee weapons. The atmosphere is oppressive and grainy, utilizing the dated engine to create a sense of unease that modern graphics often fail to capture, while the inventory system forces you to make tough choices about what to carry. You will find yourself frantically reloading your Glock while your partner shines a flashlight down a pitch-black subway tunnel, praying that nothing jumps out. The sound design is particularly disturbing, with enemies making guttural noises that signal their approach long before you see them, creating a constant state of tension that makes reaching the next save point feel like a massive victory. At number 3 is Deceit, a game that tests your ability to lie and detect deception within an asylum filled with deadly traps. The core loop involves a group of innocent players trying to escape while 2 infected players secretly sabotage their efforts and transform into terrors during blackout periods. The game forces communication and deduction, as you must vote out suspicious players before they have the chance to eliminate the entire team during the terrifying darkness phases. The tension rises as blood bags go missing and players start pointing fingers, leading to intense standoffs where innocent people are often executed out of paranoia. The first-person perspective adds to the immersion, making the moments when the lights go out and the infected transform truly heart-pounding. It successfully blends the social deduction genre with fast-paced horror action, ensuring that your biggest enemy is often the person standing right next to you. Next up at number 4 is Project Playtime, which expands the lore of the popular franchise into an asymmetrical multiplayer horror spectacle. 6 players take on the role of resource extraction specialist, attempting to build a giant toy, while a 7th player controls one of the iconic monsters like Huggy Wuggy or Mommy Longlegs to hunt them down. The factory environment is colorful yet sinister, filled with puzzles that require teamwork to solve, while the monster lurks in the shadows or vents, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The survivors have access to grab packs that allow for unique movement and puzzle interaction, adding a layer of verticality and strategy to the chase sequences. Each monster has unique abilities that change the flow of the match, forcing survivors to adapt their tactics constantly. It is a high-energy game that combines jump scares with cooperative puzzle solving, perfect for a group of friends looking for quick, adrenaline-fueled matches. Coming in at number 5 is No More Room in Hell, a tribute to the classic zombie films of George Romero that emphasizes realistic survival mechanics over arcade action. In this game, ammunition is incredibly scarce, and a single bite from a zombie can lead to an infection that will eventually turn you against your teammates unless you find a cure or opt for a noble suicide. The slow, shambling zombies may seem easy to handle at first, but they quickly overwhelm you in tight corridors, forcing your team to barricade doors and conserve every single bullet. The objective-based gameplay requires coordination, as you must scavenge for supplies and complete tasks to call for extraction while holding off the undead horde. There are no crosshairs or HUDs to help you, immersing you completely in the desperate struggle for survival. It creates a gritty, hopeless atmosphere where teamwork is the only thing keeping you from joining the ranks of the Walking Dead. For number 6, we enter the paranoia-fueled world of Unfortunate Spacemen, a shape-shifting thriller set on failing extraterrestrial outposts. This game tasks a team of spacemen with completing objectives and escaping, while a monster disguises itself as one of them to sabotage the mission and devour the crew one by one. The monster can mimic the appearance and voice of any player, leading to intense moments of interrogation and distrust as you try to figure out who is real and who is an alien imposter. The game features a variety of maps and monster types, each with unique abilities that keep the survivors on their toes and force them to stick together, which ironically makes them easier targets for area of effect attacks. The blend of sci-fi horror and social deduction works perfectly, with the proximity chat adding to the hilarity and terror. It is a fantastic hidden gem that offers deep customization and robust gameplay mechanics for a free title. At number 7 is Dead Frontier 2, a third-person survival horror MMO that takes you into a dark and decaying world overrun by the infected. Unlike many other zombie games, this one focuses heavily on atmosphere and resource management, with dark interiors that require a flashlight to navigate and enemies that can withstand significant punishment. You can team up with other survivors to explore infested buildings, trade goods in safe zones, and tackle challenging boss mutations that require coordinated fire to defeat. The game features a player-driven economy and a leveling system that allows you to specialize in different weapon types or survival skills, giving you a sense of progression in the bleak apocalypse. The old-school Resident Evil vibe is strong here, with tank-like controls and a camera angle that limits your situational awareness. It is a slow burn experience that rewards patience and careful looting, providing a grim but satisfying cooperative loop.
Number 8 brings us to Alien Swarm Reactive Drop, a top-down shooter that may look like an action game, but delivers genuine horror through its overwhelming swarms and friendly fire mechanics. You and your squad must navigate through infested colonies, welding doors shut and setting up sentry turrets to hold back hundreds of aliens that pour out of the vents and shadows. The class-based system means that everyone has a specific job, from the medic healing wounds to the tech specialist hacking doors, and if one person fails, the whole team often crumbles. The lighting engine plays a huge role, as you are often surrounded by darkness with only your flashlight beams to guide you, creating claustrophobic tension despite the isometric view. Hardcore difficulty modes introduce permanent death and infestation mechanics that make every mission a nail-biting experience. It is a masterclass in cooperative design, requiring precise communication and positioning to survive the relentless alien onslaught. Sliding into number 9 is Codename CURE, a fast-paced zombie shooter that focuses on objective-based missions in dynamic environments. A team of 5 players must work together to plant explosives in infected areas and escape before the timer runs out, battling waves of undead that include special infected types designed to separate the group. The game creates a constant sense of urgency, forcing you to keep moving forward even when you are low on health and ammo, which leads to chaotic and desperate firefights. You can choose from different classes like Assault, Support, or Sniper, each providing essential tools for the team's survival, such as ammo crates or sentry guns. The maps are designed with choke points and open areas that force you to adapt your defensive formation on the fly. It captures the frantic energy of classic arcade shooters while maintaining a horror atmosphere through sound design and lighting, making it a solid choice for a quick co-op session. At number 10, we have Deceit 2, the sequel that revamps the formula with new mechanics and a shift to larger lobbies for even more chaotic social deduction. The game takes place in a twisted ritual site where the infected must activate blood altars to unleash their true power, while the innocent struggle to complete tasks and escape the ritual. The sequel introduces a sanity system that distorts your vision and hearing when you witness terrifying events, making it harder to trust your own senses as the match progresses. New items and roles add depth to the deception, allowing for more complex strategies and bluffs that can turn the tide of the game in an instant. The visual upgrade provides more detailed and gruesome environments, enhancing the horror of the transformation sequences. It builds upon the foundation of the original by adding more layers of strategy and terror, ensuring that no two matches play out the same way. Number 11 is Zombie Panic Source, a classic modification that pits a small group of player-controlled zombies against a larger team of human survivors. The unique twist is that when a human is killed, they respawn as a zombie, creating a snowball effect where the survivor team dwindles as the undead horde grows stronger and larger. Survivors must barricade themselves in rooms and share limited ammo, panic setting in as they hear the moans of the zombies chipping away at their defenses. The zombies have the ability to see in the dark and regenerate health, making them formidable hunters who can stalk their prey from the shadows. It is a game of attrition,
where the tension ramps up until only one survivor is left standing against a relentless army of their former friends. The asymmetry of the gameplay creates a unique horror dynamic, where the fear of becoming one of the infected drives every decision you make.
Reaching number 12 is BrainBread 2, a gory and action-packed shooter that embraces the campy side of zombie horror while delivering solid FPS mechanics. This game features a perk system that allows you to customize your character with abilities like dual wielding or increased melee damage, turning you into a zombie slaying machine. The objective mode tasks players with completing complex quests across sprawling maps, from repairing generators to escorting NPCs, all while fighting off endless waves of the undead. You can also play as a zombie, utilizing a skill tree to evolve into special infected types with unique attacks, adding variety to the combat encounters. The game maintains a fast pace and encourages aggressive play, with a gibbing system that allows you to blow zombies into pieces in satisfying fashion. It is a great pick for players who want a more arcade-style experience that still retains the cooperative elements and hordes of enemies found in more serious horror titles.
Number 13 is Dossier, a multiplayer game that draws heavily from Eastern culture and folklore to create a unique horror aesthetic. You play as an investigator trying to seal distinct elemental pillars while being hunted by a vengeful spirit, utilizing traditional talismans and items to defend yourself. The visual style is distinct, featuring environments like ancient temples and haunted schools that are steeped in atmosphere and detail, setting it apart from the usual Western horror settings. The ghosts have unique abilities based on the 5 elements, requiring survivors to understand the specific mechanics of each spirit to have a chance of winning. Teamwork is essential, as players must coordinate their movements to cleanse the map without getting picked off one by one. It offers a refreshing change of pace with its cultural themes and strategic gameplay, providing a steep learning curve that rewards dedicated teams.
Number 14 brings us Hide and Shriek, a one-on-one multiplayer romp that focuses on jump scares and pranks rather than gore. Both players are invisible and must use traps and spells to frighten their opponent, earning points for every successful scare until the timer runs out. You must look for floating objects or opening doors to track your opponent's location, creating a tense game of cat and mouse where you are both the hunter and the hunted. The game features a wide variety of masks and customization options, allowing you to personalize your jump scare face to be as silly or scary as you want. The matches are short and intense, making it a perfect game to play with a friend for a quick laugh and some genuine startles. It strips horror down to its most basic element of surprise, resulting in a lighthearted but pulse-pounding experience that tests your observation skills and reflexes. At number 15 is Muck, a survival roguelike that may look bright and blocky, but quickly turns into a nightmare when the sun goes down. During the day, you gather resources, craft weapons, and build a base with your friends. But at night, terrifying monsters emerge to destroy everything you have built. The difficulty ramps up significantly with each passing day, introducing massive boss monsters that can easily wipe out your entire squad if you are not prepared. The game combines elements of tower defense with action combat, forcing you to frantically repair walls and kite enemies while managing your hunger and stamina. It is deceptively simple in its presentation, but brutal in its execution, offering a genuine challenge that requires coordination and strategy to survive past the first few nights. The contrast between the peaceful gathering phase and the chaotic night combat creates a compelling loop that keeps you coming back for just one more run. Coming in at number 16 is Crab Game, which takes the tension of childhood games and amplifies it with lethal consequences and proximity voice chat. While not a traditional horror game, the fear of elimination and the chaotic nature of the minigames create a tense atmosphere where betrayal is common and trust is fragile. Players compete in challenges like red light, green light, or the floor is lava, where a single mistake results in a gruesome explosion and immediate removal from the round. The presence of players screaming in panic as the timer ticks down adds to the psychological horror of the experience, making you desperate to survive at any cost. Maps are often dark or moody, and the inclusion of weapon-based modes turns the game into a frantic brawl for survival. It is a social experience that thrives on the unpredictability of human nature, making it a hilarious yet stressful addition to any horror game night.
Number 17 introduces Stay Out, an MMORPG with shooter elements based on the concept of the exclusion zone, heavily inspired by the Stalker franchise.
You explore a massive open world filled with radiation, anomalies, and mutants, where the environment is just as deadly as the creatures that inhabit it. The game emphasizes realism, requiring you to manage hunger, thirst, and radiation levels while scavenging for better gear and artifacts to sell. You can team up with other stalkers to raid dangerous dungeons or defend against bandit players, creating organic stories of survival and conflict in the wasteland. The atmosphere is thick with dread, featuring desolate landscapes and abandoned Soviet architecture that make you feel truly isolated. It is a grind-heavy experience that appeals to players who enjoy slow-paced atmospheric exploration and the constant threat of losing everything to a hidden anomaly or a lurking mutant. At number 18 is Will to Live Online, another post-apocalyptic MMO that focuses on faction warfare and survival in a world devastated by a global catastrophe. The game features distinct classes with their own skill trees, allowing you to build a character that fits your preferred playstyle, whether it be a medic, hunter, or mercenary. You must navigate a world filled with dangerous mutants and hostile players, completing quests and gathering resources to upgrade your equipment and base. The dungeons and raid bosses require coordination and tactical planning, as the enemies are relentless and capable of wiping out unprepared groups. The story delves into the mystery of the event that destroyed the world, providing a narrative hook to the survival gameplay. It offers a gritty and challenging experience, where cooperation with your clan is key to dominating the wasteland and surviving the horrors that lurk in the dark. Number 19 is Unturned, a zombie survival sandbox that uses a simple art style to hide a surprisingly deep and terrifying gameplay loop. You scavenge for food, weapons, and vehicles in a massive open world, all while managing your immunity levels and fighting off hordes of zombies that react to sound and sight. The game allows for base building and fortification, enabling you and your friends to construct elaborate safe houses to defend against the undead and other hostile players. Special zombie types and radioactive dead zones add variety and challenge to the exploration, forcing you to seek out high-tier loot in the most dangerous areas. The modding community has created endless content, including horror-focused maps and roleplay servers that enhance the scary aspects of the game. It is a versatile title that can be played as a casual shooter or a hardcore survival simulator, depending on the server settings. Reaching number 20 is Sven Co-op, the definitive way to experience the Half-Life universe with friends, featuring countless custom horror maps and campaigns. This standalone game allows you to play through the original Half-Life story cooperatively, as well as thousands of community-made levels that range from action-packed shooters to psychological horror puzzles. The engine's physics and enemy AI create unpredictable scenarios where a headcrab jumping from a vent can cause panic among the team. Many custom maps are specifically designed to be terrifying, with scripted jump scares, dark environments, and limited resources that force you to rely on your teammates. It is a piece of gaming history that remains relevant due to its massive content library and the timeless appeal of fighting aliens and soldiers with a crowbar. It is the ultimate sandbox for co-op FPS gameplay, offering endless hours of free content for more fans. At number 21 is We Were Here, a cooperative puzzle game that drops two players into an abandoned castle frozen in the wastelands. You are separated from your partner and must use walkie-talkies to communicate what you see, as one player often holds the clues to the other player's puzzles. The atmosphere is eerie and isolating, with the silence of the castle only broken by the crackle of the radio and the ominous sounds of the environment. The puzzles are time-sensitive and lethal, meaning that a failure in communication can lead to your partner's death and a restart of the checkpoint. It tests your ability to describe abstract symbols and complex mechanisms under pressure, creating a unique form of tension that is different from combat-focused games. The feeling of being alone in the dark while relying entirely on a voice on the radio makes it a memorable and chilling experience. Number 22 brings us SCP Containment Breach Multiplayer, a faithful adaptation of the classic indie horror game that adds cooperative play to the terrifying formula. You and your friends attempt to escape the facility while being hunted by SCP-173, SCP-096, and other iconic monsters that require specific behaviors to survive. The blink mechanic is shared or individual depending on the mode, adding a layer of strategy as you coordinate who is watching the statue while others move.
The randomly generated map ensures that you can never learn the layout, keeping the tension high as you search for keycards and gas masks. The presence of other players does not diminish the fear. Instead, it amplifies it when you see your friend's neck snap or hear them screaming as they are dragged away into the darkness. It captures the essence of the SCP universe perfectly, delivering a hardcore horror experience that is both faithful and fresh.
Number 23 is Counter-Strike Nexon Studio, a spin-off of the legendary shooter that focuses entirely on zombie scenarios and boss battles. This game features a massive variety of modes, including Zombie Escape, where players must flee from a growing horde of infected through complex maps, and Zombie Scenario, which offers story-driven co-op missions. The weapon variety is insane, featuring futuristic guns and magical melee weapons that allow you to fight back against the massive bosses and endless waves of undead. The gameplay is fast and arcade-like, prioritizing fun and spectacle over realism, but the pressure of being the last human alive is genuinely intense. It is a chaotic and content-rich game that offers a different flavor of horror, one where you have the firepower to fight back, but are constantly outnumbered.
Number 24 is SAS Zombie Assault 4, a top-down shooter that tasks you with purging infestations on distant planets. You choose from 3 unique classes and upgrade your character with hundreds of weapons and armor pieces, creating a build that can withstand the zombie apocalypse. The game features a dynamic lighting system and gore effects that make the combat feel visceral and satisfying, especially when mowing down hundreds of enemies at once. The levels are procedurally generated to some extent, mixing up enemy placements and objectives to keep the grinding fresh. Boss fights are challenging and require team coordination to dodge attacks and deal damage to weak points. It is a highly addictive RPG shooter hybrid that is perfect for players who want to blast zombies with friends and collect loot in a sci-fi horror setting.
At number 25 is Black Squad, a military shooter that includes a surprisingly robust and scary zombie survival mode. While primarily a competitive game, the cooperative defense mode places your team in a dark map where you must defend against waves of AI-controlled monsters that become increasingly difficult. The gunplay is tight and responsive, allowing for precise headshots that are necessary to take down the tougher special infected. The gloomy atmosphere and sound design in the zombie modes are a stark contrast to the bright competitive maps, showing a different side of the game. It requires good aim and positioning, as getting cornered usually results in a quick death. It is a solid option for FPS fans who want a break from PvP to shoot some monsters without spending a dime. Number 27 is Infestation: The New Z, an open-world survival game that offers a massive map filled with zombies and other players. You must scavenge for supplies, weapons, and vehicles while navigating a world where death means losing your gear, creating high-stakes gameplay. The game features different game modes, including a battle royale and a survival mode, giving you options on how you want to experience the apocalypse. The zombies are a constant threat, especially in cities where loot is abundant, but the real danger often comes from bandits watching from the hills. The night cycle is pitch black, requiring night vision goggles or flashlights, which makes you a beacon for enemies. It is a rough and tumble survival experience that appeals to fans of the genre who enjoy the risk-reward dynamic of full loot PvPvE.
At number 28 is Walking Zombie 2, a single-player game with a strong community feel and style that captures the essence of a polygon-based survival RPG. While technically solo, it is often discussed in co-op circles for its content, but for this list, we highlight its engaging story and first-person shooter mechanics that feel like a retro Fallout. You complete quests for various survivors, fighting through different locations filled with zombies and bandits. The karma system affects how NPCs treat you and what endings you can unlock, adding role-playing depth to the shooter gameplay. The visual style is charming, yet bloody, creating a unique aesthetic that stands out from realistic horror games. It is a lengthy adventure that offers hours of content for free, perfect for those who want a narrative-driven zombie game.
Number 29 is Double Turn, a party game that uses wrestling mechanics, but often features spooky themes and skins that fit a light-hearted horror night. While not a terrifying game, the chaos of the physics-based combat and the ability to throw your friends into hazards creates a fun, competitive atmosphere. The maps often have dynamic elements that can crush or wring out players, leading to screams of frustration and laughter. It serves as a palate cleanser between the more intense horror titles, allowing you to blow off steam by suplexing your friends. The simple controls make it accessible to anyone, but mastering the timing of attacks adds a layer of depth. It is a great addition to a horror game rotation when you need something less stressful but still competitive. Finally, at number 30 is Goose Goose Duck, a social deduction game that leans heavily into its horror themes with specific roles and maps. Players are geese trying to complete tasks, while ducks attempt to murder them without being caught, featuring unique roles like the pelican or the dodo that change the wind conditions. The game features proximity chat, which is used to great effect when whispering to a friend before stabbing them in the back in a dark corridor. The blood splat visuals and the sound of a kill are surprisingly impactful for a cartoon game, adding to the tension of the meetings. With a variety of game modes and constant updates, it offers a fresh take on the genre that is both hilarious and genuinely tense. It is the perfect game to end the list, proving that horror can be found even in a game about birds.